they are supposed to be what we call the needs assessment program. The needs assessment gives the government the ability and the capability to distinguish what a particular community needs and not just throw projects on them. Luckily enough, let me borrow a leaf for what Governor Wike just said last week, 2 weeks, when the NDDC opened the police hostel there close to the airport. And the governor just mentioned that, look, we need to prioritize our project. We need to do needs assessments. And he was telling NDDC such. And then they are both governments and government agencies. So what that means is that as a government, you take it into cognizance that before you do any project, you consult the communities and then know what they need before you throw around. Because why? You can begin to think that some of those projects can be in waste. You can do repetitions. You can do even project at, let me tell you one little instance. There was a community that they set up a hospital. And over the years, nobody attended the hospital. And the people come to do research. Why is it that people did not patronize this hospital? They find out that where they located the hospital was an evil forest donated by the community. And the people have the phobia that why am I going to an evil forest? You know why? They did not do proper consultation before they, fix the project.
No,
right
let me take you up on that one,
yes,
right?
Yes,
that is a challenge,
yeah.
a reality.
Yes.
When you have diverse conversations, you would find that the government lacks engagement with the people on what priorities lie before them. Now, why do you think that is such a difficult thing for the government to understand at this time? And how can we begin to allow for the government, or perhaps help the government see that, look, there are priorities with every single, peculiar location and state?
Good. Some communities have started making some changes, making sure that when government come for campaign, in campaign by political parties, they don't allow responses from the community. They just come to stage the campaign and said, okay, this is party, this, that, we're going to do this, do this. And when they talk, they dance around the stage, they make a whole of noise, flag, coloration, and they run away. At the end of the day, nobody can intercept it. But communities have developed the sense that, look, if we now bring what they're supposed to do for such a community and they sign a pact, look at what they are doing now. Communities are beginning to do a research and say, look, we don't just allow these politicians to come and talk to us and run away. At the end of the day, we won't see anything. So they list what they need and they commit the politicians to sign to that, because that one become the bond. It is not in many communities anyway. Some communities just started that. So what we are telling you now is something that communities can take up from there. And when they now come, you say, look, you told us that you're going to do this, and you sign. So by the time they refuse to do that, you flash to the public, to the press, that, look, this is what this political party said they will do when they come. That is number one. Number two, in respect of your question, governments don't want people to think that you're thinking for them. They refuse to believe that they are part of the people who now will select you to now work on behalf of everybody. So by the time you begin to tell government, this is what we think that you can do, they say, why are you telling me? I already know. So because of this too much knowing, now it's creating lapses. So what that means is that if you do a needs assessment, the community will have let them know that, look, this area is not good for that hospital. And that is why if you see some communities, there are abandoned government projects, maybe secondary school, maybe primary school, the proximity is too close. But if they have gone into, they will now see that maybe that community that they are doing primary school, what they needed is a secondary school. And you don't just fix any secondary school. What type of secondary school are you fixing? Is it a mixed school? Is it only for boys? Is it only for girls? There are communities now that, apart from the Catholic school, they don't have any other school. They don't have any other boys' school. Maybe church school, Catholic school, or whatever. And the community actually is in their need of that. So if the Ministry of Education want to put in cognizance on what's supposed to be done, you don't just throw school because you want to build schools like that. So that is why the open government partnership is critical to the development and the overall of the people. And then I, as a citizen, I can now contribute that, look, whosoever, Your Excellency, the President, the Governor, the local government chairman, please, community A, where I come from, need water. That is our first priority. And for instance, if you want me to do a research quickly, especially in the area of water resources in Ogoniland, for instance, you will take it very keenly to note that because of the benzene that have corrupted their water for quite a long time now, 900 times over World Health Organization standard, then nobody will tell you as an agency, as a government, that what the people needed, their priority is water. So by the time you conduct such an interview, you will have overwhelmingly report that water is the first thing. And then, let me tell you, which type of water are you going to give, for example, to the Ogoni people? Not the normal borehole water, because the depth of the normal borehole water is shallow. And because the water has been corrupted with benzene, you are going to dig deep so many miles away and trash and squeeze the benzene, the chemical, the zinc from the water up into the tank, and then they will drink. That is an example. But in community C, they may not need water as a priority. Maybe their water table is okay, it's not contaminated, and what they need maybe is the market. So you just consult them too. You don't just go and throw water into the next community because you have given water to Ogoni people. No. You consult what type of project they may need. And then you'll find out that the people will need something else. That's why when you're doing this assessment, you do in 3 categories. First, you do the needs assessment with the youth of the community. You do the second category with the women of the community. And you do the third one with the leadership of the community. When you do these 3 stages of the needs assessment, you're going to get results. The diverse result you merge together, and you have 1, 2, 3. You have been able to annex 3 projects from 3 groups. So the project A, or number 1 project in the leadership of the people, can go. Then the project A on women angle can be like the second project, and then the project of the youth can be the third project. That is that on this assessment. But we are also saying that because of cost of governance, there must be the need that government and the communities should work together. I mean, when I mean community, I mean civil society communities, because government over the years have been so scared to open their book. Why? If you are running a transparent government, I don't think that you close any books. Like, for example, now, in this your radio station, you once in a while have auditors, true or false. And then auditors will come, and you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to shake yourself. They get access to the file and whatever. Such is government. If government have an open, transparent books, I think it will be very fine. Another thing that happens sometimes in government, why we actually need this open space, is that they give contracts to a lot of people who are closer to them, and because they cannot ask them if the people default, yes, they cannot ask them. They are too close that out of friendship, out of years of knowing, and the persons cannot deliver. They are now ashamed to now ask such a person
because of the familiarity.
Yeah, the closeness, the proximity, how they have been, and the person can. And you might be surprised that some years ago, the contractor of the government was the person supporting the governor, for example, in maybe a state A or state B. The governor of that time might be another citizen, was not buoyant enough, was not a millionaire or whatever, and a quiet citizen was sponsoring you, and you were able to now skate through and become a governor. So when you now give contract to such a person who aided you, you are now incapacitated to ask him to perform.
But we don't see such playing in other climes like the US, for instance.
It's not there like that. So that is why I'm telling you, for example, if that is why we're asking for open books.
Should we still be asking if on paper we have signed a partnership?
The reason being that, a lot of things are on lip service here. Even the budget you're talking about, I have monitored federal government budgets in this state, something that pertains to Rivers State, a whole budget that comes to do with Nigeria. And I now monitor the one that has to do with my state, Rivers State. And you will get brain drain. In fact, you get a lot of headache. You know why? Because you cannot trace projects. They will just sit down in their office and say electrification project at Emoha. And Emoha has to do with the local governments. A local government. They can say school provision of chairs in school at Onelga. Onelga has to do with the local government. A whole local government with over how many communities? They can say, okay, renovation of primary school in Gokana. Gokana, we Agokana has 17 villages, communities. So they deliberately don't want to tell you the location of the contract so that you will not come and monitor whether they do it or not. It's a deliberate ploy. And sometimes they will not fix the name of the contractor. And let me shock you, sometimes even in this state, if government of Rivers State, open books for us to tell us the contractors that have default, you will not greet most of those big men on the street again.
So the question right now is, how can we, because again, like what you mentioned earlier, with some communities that have begun to ensure that there is something written on paper, so when you default in the future, they can hold you accountable to that.
Yeah.
How then can we ensure and enforce as citizens? Because again, there is the place for citizen participation.
Yeah.
How can we ensure that we have the kind of transparency and accountability that we need in government?
Okay, very quick. Just like you're doing now, I want to give kudos to your radio station. This is one of their corporate social responsibility that they are doing, is part of sensitization and also letting the people and government to know what we're supposed to do. That does not preclude that government is not aware. Government is aware. They are aware of those instruments. They know what it's all about. But let me also say that there will be continuous talking. You also remember quickly, Gablera, that Nigerians were clamoring on what we call electronic voting, right? Mm-hmm. And we did not keep quiet. And people started to shout, make positive noise, because there are types of noise. There will be positive noise, negative noise, and noise that will not make any sense. So when people begin to make noise, the National Assembly reverses itself. And now there is what we call electronic voting system that is going to be transmitted. So that is why Nigerians must sit up and making sure that they are part of the budget. People will not sit somewhere like in the ministries, in the agencies, and do what we call circular. Madam, if you have seen budget, you see a lot of copy and paste. In fact, there is no malpractices that is more than in the budget. In fact, if there is anything called plagiarism, it is there that is found. And you're just copying the work. You can see budget that have been there since 2001. They will bring it. It appear in 2002, appear in 2003. Be appearing. However, there are few budgets that carry 3 years expansion program. There are certain one that carry that one. It's a 3 years program from maybe 2002 to 2003 or 4. That one, you know that it has that year that's carried. But there's one that's repeatedly on. And that's why we have been advocating that this budget document should be made known and made public. And the World Bank is also doing something very great now. You'll be surprised. The World Bank have been trying to tell the governors forum in Nigeria, that if you place your budget online, they will give you some certain amount of dollars as a motivation. Kudos to that.